have already learned how to find a future or a past date using the calendar. If you have not learned it yet, please watch the calendar video before watching this video. Many times you might not have a calendar handy, but you might be asked to add or subtract from a calendar date. It is possible to add or subtract dates without actually using the calendar itself. You need to know the number of days that each month has before you can do such calculations. Let's take a look at a simple example. This question asks us, what is the date 12 days after March 3rd? The easiest way to find this date is to add 12 to 3. So we can start out with 3 plus 12, which we know equals 15. So 12 days after March 3rd will be March 15th. And since March has 31 days in it, the date of the 15th, which is 12 days after the 3rd, will still be a date in the month of March. So 12 days after March 3rd is March 15th. Let's look at another example that's a little more complicated. We are asked, what is the date 45 days after May 2nd? So let's begin by adding 45 to 2. So we start out with 45 plus 2 equals 47. Now we know that May has 31 days in it. There is not a date of May 47th or the 47th day of May because May only has 31 days. The date 45 days after May 2nd will not be a date in the month of May. So what is the date 45 days after May 2nd? Well, the date after 45 days will fall in the next month being June. Some of the 45 days will fall in the month of May, and the rest of them will fall in the next month, June. The 45th day after May 2nd will fall in June. So let's do some calculations now to find out exactly which day of June that will be. We know May has a total of 31. So let's first calculate the number of days remaining in May. So if there are originally 31 days in May, and we're on May 2nd, so we're going to take away 2 days. So we're left with 29. So 29 of the 45 days are going to be falling in May. There are 29 more days in the month of May out of our 45 days. And the rest of them will fall the next month into June. So after that, after May, the next remaining days will be however many are left of the 45 once we subtract the 29. So there are 16 more days after the 29 that fall in May. So 45 is the total. We take away the 29 that fall in May, and we end up with 16 more days that need to fall in the next month, the month of June. We know the next month is June and that it has 30 days in it. So 16 days will fall in the month of June, and the date will be June 16th. Our next example says, if today is January 27th, what will the date be after 67 days? And we need to assume that in this particular year, there are 28 days in February. We know that January has 31 days. So the date, 67 days after January 27th, will fall in some other month. Let's find out which month it is. The number of days remaining in the month of January are 31 minus 27, which is 4 days. So 4 of our 67 days will fall in January, and then the next month will start. The days remaining after January then are 67 minus 4, which equals 63 days. It is still a very large number, and no month has so many days in it. February is the next month after January, and it has 28 days. So out of our 63, 28 days will fall in February. So the remaining days of 63 minus 28 equals 35 days. The next month is March, and March has 31 days. So out of the 35, 31 of them will fall in March. So the remaining days are 35 minus 31 equals 4 days. The next month is April, and April has 30 days in it. So the 4 remaining days will fall in April, and after 4 days from the start of the month of April is the date April 4th. So our answer is April 4th is the date 67 days after January 27th. This approach may seem very long and tedious to you, but with practice you will be able to perform these calculations in your head. Let's look at an example of finding a past date on the calendar. So our example says, today is August the 5th. What was the date 13 days ago? You know then that only 5 days have passed in the month of August. The date 13 days ago must fall in the previous month, the month of July. Out of 13 days, 5 days are in August. The remaining days are 13 minus 5, or 8 days. So out of our 13 days, 8 of them fall in July. So let's start from July 31st and count backwards until we have counted back 8 full days. So starting with July 31st, we want 8 days to pass, and then the next date will be our date. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so our date is the day July 23rd. So July 23rd is the date 13 days before August the 5th.